Hello, this is Geferris, your narrator. What I'm going to tell you and show you is how different it was between 2005 and 2008 with the amount of ice in the Upernavik Ice fjord. The ice was so threateningly dense in the Upernavik Ice fjord in 2008 that I decided to hire a motorboat to take me through that ice.
I'm looking at an iceberg right in front of Upernavik, where I plan to be paddling north of here.
I'm going to take you on a trip to see the flowers, the geology, and the icebergs in the ice fjord.
Yes, they have icebergs here in Upernavik, and they come and float around on the currents and the wind, depending on which is running the show.
This is an iceberg floating in front of Upernavik that has come out of the ice fjord.
The ice glint off from Upernavik, which is why the horizon is glowing in this whitish blue sheen. I am standing on Pukata. This iceberg in view is a very dangerous type of iceberg that can just break up into a million pieces, which is not a good thing. And it can cause enormous waves. Probably going tomorrow in this direction down through here. The ice density out in the ice fjord is not all that alarming.
The ice was so dense in 2008, we couldn't even get to this island by motorboat, and we had to change our destination completely because it was really ice packed in solidly.
There's my tent, the usual arrangement. But a high tide last night was much higher than during the day, which brought my boat up on top of a rock. I was quite surprised in the morning.
This is how my boat looked from across the bay. Rather amusing.
Just to show you that the currents move in these fjords fairly fast. I've had experiences where icebergs crisscross right in front of me.
I'm very close to the end of a fjord that ends at the ice cap. However, the glacier had receded so greatly there is no longer icebergs being shed. This is my Mark I folding kayak, manufactured by Long Haul in Colorado. I brought it up this shallow stone ramp on foam rollers. Here is the rudder, the solar panel, the cockpit, map case, and GPS. It's a flat, hot summer day. Now you can see the paddles that I have used, two different types. I used the Wenatchee 210 centimeter. Here is the map case with the Magellan 76. And here is the solar panel for recharging my batteries. I wore a Cocotat Gore-Tex dry suit, which I found very comfortable. It has served me well on my travels.
The ice cap is receding.
I'm about 5 or 6 miles from the end of the ice cap. I'm sitting in a whirlpool area, just a small tidal whirlpool, and the ice fizzing in the background you hear is actually compressed snow. As it's melting, it bubbles and I used urethane-coated nylon cylindrical bags for my camera and for my dry bags. They were expedition weight. I'm using my binoculars to search for a campsite. I prefer south facing. I paddled about 20 miles today. The tide and the current were against me in the last few miles.
My boat is safely up, nice and high.
It's a quiet evening. I'm looking south from my campsite out toward the fjord.
It's now about 11:15. And I paddled the whole day. That is Sanderson's Hope, the mountain off of Upernavik. And and the mountains on the Danube. This is the reflected sunlight. I thought you would enjoy it.
On a bright, calm day, I'm leaving Sissuargasut Island, heading across for 4 miles, and I have to take into consideration the iceberg densities. Some of them are really quite sizable, and the icebergs are collected in between the passages. Sissuargasut Island has many heavy iron deposits. The minerals in this area are so colorful because they are iron and calcium interlaced together. I'm heading west and I'm approaching a low-lying Upernavik island among other islands that are also low-lying. We're looking at Nayat to the north, and these are large icebergs that have come from Fjord. This iceberg looks like it's 3 to 5 stories tall, the tallest I have seen yet on the water. And this is iron in the Inarswit area.
It's right near Inarswit, and it's a nice place to be. This fjord wraps around and comes on the other side as a U shape.
Here I am on my way around through the granite passage behind, coming out in Inarswit, which has a large fish processing factory that is very successful.
I'm on my way to the island called Susak, and it has some red and black hematite on it. I've just left Inarswit. Suck Island.
There is so much hematite in this area, some of these islands actually look bright red and black.
And over there is
Sedimentary rock.
different geology. I have just left.
I'm paddling toward an island that has Arctic terns nesting on it.
This is a rookery for Arctic terns.
They are zooming precariously low right over me. I'm heading farther away from this island because they are really coming after me. I don't like this. I'm heading for an island near Desusak because fog is starting to come in. I'm worried about it.
I'm right near Desusak Island, but I think this is as close as I'm going to bother with.
Because
Fog is blowing in, and so what I'm doing is I found a nice place to camp.
because of the incoming fog. I'm peering around the north side of this island just to see what else is available for campsites. All I see are steep, dry cliffs and no place to pull in for a campsite. The best side is the south side of this island for a campsite. It's early evening now. It's about 5 or 6 o'clock, and the Arctic terns are feeding. They will be here for a little while, and then they will be gone for the rest of the day. I'm looking at them from my tent, where they are unaware I am. The swirls of these metamorphosed minerals, white feldspar and iron, were exquisite. Also the colors at night were unbelievable. Starting out very early in the morning, I made Sissuargasut in the day, 20-mile day of paddling, and had the chance to wash my clothes. I melted ice on the warm rocks. I realized I had to make the crossing about 7 miles and use my GPS and go just from iceberg to iceberg taking readings.
I've been waiting for this fog to leave. Now it's clear enough. So I'm preparing to load up my boat and roll it off of this ramp.
I will paddle down to Ayepa Island and take a course of 180 degrees on my GPS. This was the weirdest looking, unbelievable blue and black iceberg I've ever seen, and it was about halfway across to Upernavik. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it. Now I'm coming into Upernavik, and it certainly was foggy.
The wind is 23 to 28 per second. You can sense the violence of this wind by looking at how the clouds are distributed over the mountains.
In Upernavik, the low-pressure system that is generated by the ice cap controls the power of the storms that come in from Upernavik.
It's coming from where? Wind from the east was blowing, but these clouds we're looking at are from the southwest and the west. The low pressure system is controlling the air coming in from the west, which is Upernavik. So these clouds are forced to back up and compress as they try to climb over these mountains. Looking to the southwest, you can see how the water is being controlled by the wind. Our forecast for tonight, and we're looking at what we can see of Sanderson's Hope. The top is now missing.
When Sanderson's soap is starting to wear a hat, bad weather is coming in.
This is how I am launching. I'm using foam-filled rollers called pool noodles under the surfaces as I pull the boat down this incline. And I have a long bow line tied to both the spout and the stern so that I can control the boat either way. There's a fast current whistling in right at the moment. Tide's coming in from the outside. I have just come from this passage. There are red sea anemones around as well. Fjord cod, they're looking at me. This is illustrating the tricky side of an unseen wave that is coming in here from an iceberg that has broken off on the outside. It's one of those things you can't see, but there it is. So you have to be careful about what you do with your kayak when you're getting in and out of it or going in shallow areas. I'm going to go pedaling, but as I speak, fog is blowing into this area. Even a small section of ice off of its side. It makes quite a huge noise and spreads out a long way from the berg itself. This is because the temperature difference between the berg and the water is large. It's kind of like a major explosion when that ice chunk hits the water. And this is something you have to be aware of when you're boating. So
I hired the Torleifson family to get me out to Inarssuit via motorboat because there was just way too much ice in the Upernavik Ice fjord to risk my crossing in my kayak. A fisherman happened to drop by my campsite, and I hired him to take me back to Upernavik. I really didn't want to make this kind of a crossing. It's far too risky. This is geferris, your narrator and videographer. Thank you for watching my video.